Some of the data I saw presented last week, I don't know exactly whether it is the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics that is wrong, or it is the speech, and especially the people who made the speech who didn't have the correct data, Honorable Speaker, that we have made the exchange rate to climb down. Honorable Speaker, in the day of elections in Kenya, the exchange rate to the USD was 118 shillings. The exchange rate during the swearing day, Honorable Speaker, was 120 shillings. The exchange rate reached 159 actually in 2023 when we were still around, Honorable Speaker. And therefore, Honorable Speaker, the exchange rate has actually depreciated by 8.5% from August of 2022, Honorable Speaker. And it is in an era where the USD itself globally has depreciated by 10%. And therefore, Honorable Speaker, there, I don't know which data is actually correct. The truth of the matter, and Honorable Speaker, it is usually said that when you have a lion, you just need to unleash it. You don't need to defend it. It defends itself. And that is how facts are, Honorable Speaker. You release them, they defend themselves. And I want also to welcome my brother, Honorable Abraham Kirwa, back to Parliament. We are glad to see you. Na karibu sana. Honorable Speaker, I'll be direct to the point. One is that when we have such a situation where we are listening to the State of the Nation address, Honorable Speaker, data should speak more than words. Honorable Speaker, I say so because when you want to invest in a company, for example, you want to invest in a bank, you look at their financial statements, knowing that the Nairobi Securities Exchange and regulators like CMA and the Central Bank of Kenya have done their bit. And therefore you do it knowing that the data you are reading is believable. Honorable Speaker, I say so because some of the data I saw presented last week, I don't know exactly whether it is the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics that is wrong, or it is the speech, and especially the people who made the speech who didn't have the correct data, Honorable Speaker. The first thing I want to cite is the exchange rate. We have been talking here in Parliament and especially giving a narration that we have made the exchange rate to climb down. Honorable Speaker, in the day of elections in Kenya, the exchange rate to the USD was 118 shillings. The exchange rate during the swearing day, Honorable Speaker, was 120 shillings. The exchange rate reached 159 actually in 2023 when we were still around, Honorable Speaker. And therefore, Honorable Speaker, the exchange rate has actually depreciated by 8.5% from August of 2022, Honorable Speaker. And it is in an era where the USD itself globally has depreciated by 10%. And therefore, Honorable Speaker, there, I don't know which data is actually correct. The other issue, Honorable Speaker, is the performance of the Nairobi Securities Exchange. The truth of the matter, and Honorable Speaker, it is usually said that when you have a lion, you just need to unleash it. You don't need to defend it. It defends itself. And that is how facts are, Honorable Speaker. You release them, they defend themselves. The Nairobi Securities Exchange, just like all the other stock exchanges in the world, they are not measured by market capitalization. They are measured by indices. And there are two indices in the NSE, Honorable Speaker. One is called the Nairobi Security or Share Index. The other one is called the 20 Share Index. Honorable Speaker, the highest you have seen, and I say so because in the speech, I saw that the Nairobi Securities Exchange is in its all-time high. Honorable Speaker, that is incorrect. The Nairobi Securities Exchange, even citing the last 5 years, Honorable Speaker, only, or even the last 10 years, its all-time high in the recent past was actually 2017. But the very much all-time high, Honorable Speaker, was actually around 2007. The Nairobi, the NASI, which is the OSHA Index, Honorable Speaker, the all-time high of NASI was actually in 2017, not as it was being given in the speech. And the Honorable Speaker, even the data on construction. If you read the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics, the construction sector in Kenya in the 2024 year, Honorable Speaker, it actually contracted by 2%. The consumption of cement was down by 7.9%. Consumption of steel was down at a level where we are doing housing projects. Honorable Speaker, I say so because for us to move forward, we have to be very deliberate and factual on where we are. And that is why, after all is said and done, data always speaks for itself. Because if you compare, Honorable Speaker, Kenya, compare the last 3 regimes for the first 3 years, the regime of President Mwai Kibaki, the regime of President Uhuru Kenyatta, and the current. The first 3 years, President Uhuru Kenyatta took the GDP of Kenya when it was $19 billion. In the first 3 years, it was $26 billion. It was up by over, I think, let me actually quote correctly, Honorable Speaker, it was up 36%. The first 3 years of President Uhuru Kenyatta, it was 21% growth in the GDP. The current situation, Honorable Speaker, the first 3 years, the economy has only grew by around 14%. If you grade using NEC, you times by 2, Kibaki gets 72%, President Uhuru Kenyatta gets 42%, President Kibaki gets 72%, Uhuru Kenyatta 42%, the current one is at 29%. You can use NEC to grade, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, the other issue I want to cite is even the regional dominance of Kenya. In the year 2024, Uganda grew by 6%, Tanzania by 6.1%, Honorable Speaker. Rwanda grew by over 8%, Kenya grew by 4.7%. Honorable Speaker, also as I said, facts are like lion, you release them, you don't defend them, they defend themselves. Honorable Speaker, as I come to the conclusion, I thought the President would actually talk about, or the speech would include the issue of debt. Kenya is currently borrowing 3.5 billion shillings every day, unprecedented. And besides that, we are borrowing also illegally in the name of securitization, in the name of Talanta Board and the rest. I thought that is a monumental issue that would have been highlighted. But lastly, Honorable Speaker, also, Honorable Speaker, I thought the speech would include the issue of education. The speech was read in a situation where, Honorable Speaker, our principals have received a circular to increase school fees for day scholars, Honorable Speaker, starting January. And I want to rally the members of this House. We must not sit here when the fees for day secondary school is being increased by government from next year. Honorable Speaker, very lastly, I didn't hear the issue of confirmation of the JSS interns, who are 20,000 in number. Honorable Speaker, these JSS interns, our brothers and sisters, must be confirmed into permanent and pensionable terms immediately without delay. I submit, Honorable Speaker.
What's your point of order, Honorable Mohammed?
Madam Speaker, though he has already finished, the honorable member was on the floor. As a concerned Kenyan, he has just indicated that Kenya is borrowing some billions every single day. I would like him to tell me today, how did we borrow? Which bank, which institution borrowed us? Because when you are speaking here, we need to tell wananchi the truth, not just lying. You know, that's a story that can burn a country. When you hear your country is borrowing every day, I beseech you to ask him to give me evidence as a Kenyan. How much have we borrowed today? From which institution? Who signed? Where is the money? Please make this clear to us as wananchi wants to know on their behalf as a Migori member of Parliament.
You've made.
Honorable Speaker, I don't know how to respond because it's hard to respond to such kind of an issue. Honorable Speaker, just advise the member that the data of Kenya is readily available even now in the Central Bank of Kenya. And it is difficult for me to do your job. Currently, as it is, Honorable Speaker, when this government came in, that is how it is, Honorable Member, the debt of Kenya was 8.7 trillion Kenya shillings. As we talk today, the debt of Kenya is over 12.5 trillion Kenya shillings. And therefore, we have borrowed over 3.5 trillion Kenya shillings in a span of less than 3 years. And therefore, if you divide that by the number of days, I have actually given a discount. We are borrowing more than 3.5 billion every single day, and that is unpalatable.
You have clarified. Thank you. Honorable Ndindi Nyoro, I think Honorable Fatuma